I'm Jeanette, and I'm with Eureka Cohort 4. Um, Welcome to our Science Festival. Today we're talking with Adriana Rocha Garcia, and we have a couple of questions for her. I don't know. Do you want to start with, oh man. So let's start with how you decided to pursue your PhD and how your educational background shaped your career journey.
Sure. Thank you, Adriana. Thank you for your being there on Saturday morning, and thank you all for being up early on a Saturday morning to improve your lives. And so I decided to start a PhD track because honestly, people said that I didn't have to do it. And that I didn't have, when somebody tells me that I don't have to do it and I want to do it, I feel that it's important to go for your goals and for your dreams. And so I decided to continue and to say, yes, I can get a PhD. I want to be one of the first Hispanic women with a PhD in advertising, and I'm one of a handful of Hispanics that have a PhD. And it was really cool to go to UT Austin as well and to be accepted into a very small class. So I really did it because I wanted to prove people that I could do it. Back in high school, somebody once told me, oh yeah, you can get an associate's degree and that'll be good enough. And I never think that something is good enough if there's more to go for. So continue on and go for as much as you
can. Yeah, that's awesome. Let's see. So how has your education and previous work helped you lead and advise the city as a councilwoman?
Sure. Well, I'm glad you asked that question because my education has really helped me prepare. I read a lot, and on city council, you get a lot of things to read. So you have to be able to prepare. You have to be a little bit of an expert in everything, right? And not everybody's an expert in everything, but you need to know enough to be able to understand these things that are going on. And so I think that my education has helped me because I've always been someone that just prepares a lot. I read a lot, and that's exactly what you have to do to be on city council. You have to be able to read a lot, take it all in, and also talk to people. And I think that my background in education, since it's in communications, I'm able to communicate with people. I'm able to relate to people, which are my residents, right? I need to know what they want, and I'm not afraid to talk to everybody and to ask them, how can I help? So I think that my education has really prepared me to be on city council.
Okay, so that's excellent. That's amazing. But as a female leader, what has been your most significant barrier in your career?
Sure. So a lot of times, I feel like even though we have the majority male council, and you also saw my colleague Councilman Sandoval earlier, but even though we're at the table, there's still a lot of men that are in positions that I think that we need to include more girls in. Like, for instance, in STEM, which you all are doing a science fair today, right? And so I think that there's an opportunity still to encourage women to go into these different fields. My first few months on the job as a city council person, I realized that there was only 92 women firefighters. And so I started learning a little bit more, and we actually worked together to try to get a camp going. I had put together a girls which I think some of you might have been almost able to participate in, but then COVID hit, so we had to cancel it because of what was going on in our community. But definitely I've had a lot of times where there's only men in the room and I was the only woman, and so having to stand up and having to defend my views, my point of views, because I represent women, I represent moms, I represent educators, and I represent daughters, right? And so it's a little bit different. And so I'll give you guys this funny, you girls, a funny story. In February, we went to advocate over to our nation's capital. So we were in DC advocating for things, and I was seated at a table with all men. and it was mostly men in technology. And so I was still able to keep up a conversation with them. I knew exactly what they were talking about. I was asking them questions. And then at the end of the night, I think someone realized, uh-oh, we put her at a table with all men. And so they came and they apologized, because I think now people realize, oh man, she's the first one to notice that there's not women, right, at the table. And so they said, I said it was a mistake. Don't let it happen again. I was able to hold my ground. However, the very next day, I decided to make a statement. And I wore a tie all day the next day. I wore a suit and tie. And it was funny because three men, and so these are all very high ranking people, three men, two of them CEOs for local corporations that were in SHDC, said something like, wow, I didn't know you know how to tie a tie. And so when the second one said it for me, I said, oh, well, I figured that your wives tie them for you anyway. And so it's just being able to still collaborate and still know that there's a lot of work to do, but also standing up for yourselves. And you all probably saw earlier this week that one of our congressmen really stood up for herself this week when a man tried to tell her something. And so I think that's what it is. We just have to continue saying that women should be represented at all levels. And I encourage you all, especially if there's a field where there's not a lot of girls, that you all start looking at those fields and really empower yourselves and make a difference.
Okay, that's really good that you obviously overcame a lot of barriers in your career. But was there anyone who inspired you particularly to overcome these challenges?
Yeah, so my parents, and my parents only went to first and second grade in Mexico. So they didn't get a full education. They couldn't really even help me pass the first, second grade here. And so, however, my dad has a really strong work ethic. And every day I would see him come home and really tired. He worked construction. And so he, would still have time to hug me and play with me. And my mom, who is a homemaker, she would stay home all day and take care of me. And she was always asking me, did you do your homework? Did you read? How are your grades? And so I think because of them and knowing that there's a lot of people like them that need help, they've inspired me to do what I do today.
Wow, that's amazing. So part of your job is being in front of people and like speaking and hosting events. So how did you prepare for this interview today?
Sure. Well,
Yeah.
I was happy because it was going to be girls, and so I'm always happy about that. I feel very comfortable with you all. I have a background, my undergraduate degree is in journalism, and so it's through communication arts. So I've taken a lot of communication arts classes, and my master's is in public relations. So I'm able to feel comfortable in front of a camera. Today I prepared extra hard though. I put on my Girls Inc. shirt. So I am strong, I'm smart, I'm bold. And so I wanted to make sure that I kind of matched with you all. I'm so proud of the shirt. It makes me feel so empowered. I love the message that it sends, and I will continue wearing it out in the community just to remind people that girls are here and we do make a difference.
That's amazing. So what advice do you have for the next generation of female leaders?
I have the advice to not give up. Continue, follow your dreams, read. I mean, I can't stress enough to read and prepare and anticipate the questions, right? Have the answers ready, but also listen to other people, because I think that's the importance. So we can read different perspectives. As long as we listen to others who might not have the same experiences, we'll be able to really keep everyone on the same page, right? So we need to know what everybody's needs are. And so prepare, talk to people, reach out, ask. If you don't know the answer, don't be afraid to ask a question, because no question is a dumb question. And so I think that's kind of the little nuggets of advice that I could give today.
Yeah, speaking of no question is a dumb question, we have a question from someone watching right now, and they asked, how do you deal with like stress or being under pressure?
Sure. So I try to have parameters, right? And so I make it a point to my son, I'm not going to pick up the phone. I'm not looking at it. If we're having dinner, I put the phone to the side, right? And so when I'm with my parents, I'll glance over just to make sure it's not something that's really pressing. And if it's not, I'll just kind of put it off to the side. But my de-stressor is really my family. So talking to my son, watching movies, we watch all the Flash and we watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. So I'm kind of a big nerd with that. I love Green Arrow. And so we watch a lot of comic books, all of the superhero movies, we watch them together. And so I think that's my de-stressor. I also watch, if you all haven't watched this, and I'm really proud because she's one of our D4 babies, but Ashley Garcia, the Expanding Universe of Ashley Garcia. She's from San Antonio. The second season just came out a couple of days ago, so that's what I'm planning to do after this, is binge watching the Expanding Universe of Ashley Garcia. And so empowering, anything that's empowering to women, I love to watch. And so that's kind of my de-stressor. And then visiting my parents. I visit them every single day. But even though right now we're in COVID, I visit them from outside. I stay outside. I stay 6 feet away. They know I can't hug them or kiss them right now, but I visit them still every single day. I drop off groceries for them. I don't want them going to the grocery store by themselves. So those are my de-stressors right now.
So I think one of the last questions you have today is, what's the hardest thing about being a woman? I know you already kind of answered this, but what do you think is the hardest thing about being a woman in your work field?
Sure. It's being having all of these hats to wear, right? So it's being a daughter, it's being a mom, it's being an educator, and so women we're dependent on to do a whole lot more in the homes, right? So like right now, when we're at COVID and we're doing a lot of stuff from home, like I see if there's a dirty dish, like I have to wash it, right? So if I see that, there's some clutter or something, oh my goodness, I have to stop and pick it up. And so I think there's a lot of added pressure with, I think women being the ones that are expected to feed the family or to care for the family, et cetera. And so that's what I would say is the added pressure. But some of that is fun too.
So I think that was it, but I just wanted to thank you for speaking with us today. I really enjoyed myself. So.
Well, thank you, Jeanette. It was great. And thank you all for, again, being here on a Saturday morning. And thank you, Girls Inc., for inviting me. This was super fun. Let me know if I could ever do anything for any one of you all. Thank you.